I have completed my extended essay slash blog entitled 19 Arabs with Box Cutters. And you can find it at 19arabs.blogspot.com. In the previous few entries, I read verbatim from certain parts of the extended essay, but the entire thing is there in all of its glory and all of its glorious insight. Coming up on the 20-year anniversary, September 11th, 2001, that horrifically seminal event. It is horrific for all the reasons they say it is, and it is horrific in so many more ways than the typical ways that they say that it is. It is a seminal event in not that there haven't been occasions similar to it in the past, where an attack was seemingly planned and plotted by certain groups with a lot of power and influence, with an agenda in mind, and then once it happened, there was an effort to divert attention elsewhere and say that it's because of this other group over there. And in this case, the blame was cast on 19 Arabs with box cutters. It is my contention that there were not any Arabs aboard any of those planes, and that nothing that we were told happened that day actually happened. Nothing insofar as the scenario that's put forth in what I call the 9/11 OS. I shorten official story to OS just because it gets a little tedious to just keep repeating the phrase official story, official story, official story. There you go. The focus of my extended essay is not primarily a rebuttal of the OS, however, although I do give a recitation of things that I believe that are part of the official story that I believe could not have happened, that defy logic, that defy physical science as we know it, and so forth. But my attention is rather about the mendacity of the liars themselves, those who packaged and spread this message of 19 Arabs almost before the event had even happened, as if it had been prepackaged. Those who went and seeded these ideas and had obvious reasons, obvious agendas in mind for doing so. And I don't just focus on PNAC and neocons and all of that, which is also indeed a part of the story. But I think what I spend the most time on, because it's the thing that interests me the most, that intrigues me the most, and also disturbs me the most, is the fact that the official story is so thoroughly soaked in mendacity, and you don't even have to look hard at it to see and understand that. You only have to look at it a little bit. You only have to spend a little bit of time on it, and immediately problems arise. So why is that? Why do they? Why didn't they come up with a story that was airtight? Why didn't they, with all of their resources, their nearly unlimited resources, why didn't they come up with a story that no one could possibly disbelieve? Because because again, it was airtight. Everything fit together, and you could no more dispute it than you could dispute, 2 and 2 equaling 4. Why didn't they do that? Why instead did they opt for this extremely convoluted story, which doesn't add up, which in so many ways makes no sense, which in so many instances just falls apart at the seams? Why do they do it that way? I've talked about this idea before in a prior video on this channel, but I also put it in writing in my extended essay, 19 Arabs with Box Cutters. And I also spend a bit of time looking at who I believe to be 3 specific examples of 9/11 liars who are on the record, whose lies are on the record. These aren't just people who are repeating what they're told. These are people who are we see disseminating these ideas, these notions out of whole cloth. And I focus in particularly on Jerome Hauer, on Larry Silverstein, and on Ted Olson. Now I talk about those 3. I've talked about all 3 of those guys in prior videos as well, but in this extended essay, I put it down in writing. And I think, as I've said before, I'm much more comfortable thinking of myself as a writer than I am as whatever this is, a vlogger. The written word for me has staying power. The written word for me, it's something that I strive when I write, not just to write for the now, but to write for the ages, whether I'm writing fiction or nonfiction. And so I encourage you, even if you've listened to all of my videos about all of these things, even if you think you pretty much understand or know or grasp where I'm coming from, what my argument is, that's number one, why they did it this way, why they, instead of coming up with an airtight story with where all of the evidence fit together well, why instead did they come up with this totally convoluted, ridiculous, absurdist story? Because I think there's a reason for that, and admittedly that gets us into the realm of speculation. But I cover what I think are some of the reasons that have been discussed before, and I give my own analysis on that question. And I also focus on these instances of crystallized mendacity that we find in characters like Jerome Hauer and Larry Silverstein and Ted Olson. So please do check it out. And there are 5 entries, all in order, just like a normal essay would be read, except if you go to the site, the first entry is listed on the bottom of the page, and then it goes up from there. So the first thing to read is the introduction, and then to go from there. Or you can just read any part of it that you want to read and omit reading any other part of it if you prefer to do it that way. But anyone who visits the site, I will appreciate it. And let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Andy Nowicki. My author page is altrightnovelist.com.